Gordon, I know you have a fair amount of experience in China. Anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, and I agree with most of really what Jonathan said. My experience in China is exactly what Jonathan said, which is it's process and it's project management and it's execution. And really bright people, no shortage of entrepreneurs. There's 3,000, 6,000 software companies in China. The problem is getting any 10 of them together to make any size. There's very few of size. So there's a fair amount of domain knowledge, but it's scattered around. And I think, China is going to take, 5 to 7 years to kind of catch up where India is, but they are going to do it. And there's a big focus by the government to lure companies over there with, free rent and no taxes and pay the first 4 months' salary for your employees while they get trained. You go to Beijing or Shanghai or any place like that, and every road sign's in English and in Chinese. You go to the Beijing airport and you go into duty free, and everything is in U.S. dollars, and you got to pay in U.S. dollars, and everything's in English. You can't graduate from any university in any subject without passing English proficiency. A lot of cultural training going on. So I think there's right now I think India and China are in a stage of, competition. I think India looks at China as an opportunity to expand its footprint and do work in multiple countries. I think China is trying to learn from India. And I think it's pretty healthy, but over time I think there will be competition, and I think that's good because I think China will get better and India will get better because of the competition.
Great. Steve, a question for you. Do most software product development companies really leverage India both as a development center as well as a market? For example, Concur, how do you look at it? Is it purely a development center for you, or is there an eye on India as a market?
Well, there's absolutely an eye on India as a market. Today, I would tell you it's a very one-dimensional relationship. It's historically it's been a way for low-cost labor to help drive down your cost of operations, increase your profits. It's obviously on the other side has been fantastic in revenue generation for IT companies here, but those things are very short-term in nature. At some point in time, the cost structure is going to be significant enough here that if the only reason I was investing here was low-cost capital, I will eventually move to China. I will eventually move to wherever else low-cost capital is available. I think that from our perspective, and I think that fellow CEOs I talk to that are investing in India are doing so in part to gain some experience in this market, and in part to look at how to grow and from a market perspective. If you think about pure software development companies that are actually selling and servicing customers in India, I mean, there's not a lot of very big companies here. I think the biggest was a company that was just acquired by Oracle, and that company was $400 or $500 million in revenues. I mean, that's nothing at the end of the day. So it's a market that has not been penetrated well by software providers. And I think that it's got to be something that happens in partnership with some of the companies that are here today.
Okay, great. Ravi, obviously India is a huge market for Oracle, but a slightly different twist on the question. If you look at the development resources within Oracle, give us a sense of what percentage of those resources focus on really supporting and leveraging the domestic opportunity versus product development for the global Oracle enterprise. If you can.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a percentage, but I think that the bulk of the work in India at Oracle is for the global product suite. What we have in India is a large services arm as well, and the services arm focuses not just international clients but also domestic clients, and they would get into specific implementations for, say, Tata Motors or Bharti or Hutch. Those implementations would obviously be specific to the business needs of the particular client, and so to that extent, yes, there is a substantial domestic implementation and services component, and there are some products that are being enhanced to take into account the specific business needs posed by businesses in India, which may be somewhat different. So the dealer model that that automotive dealer might adopt in India may be slightly different or substantially different than one in the U.S. So I think that needs to be taken into consideration, and we are doing that. And now going to the other point, which Steve mentioned, that I think you're sort of a little bit early, and you're more focused on using India as a product development platform. But as far as Oracle is concerned, we made huge forays into the market in India across all aspects of our product suite, database, applications. We have some of our largest applications deployments in Asia Pacific and in India. So we recognize India as a large growth opportunity for us. Also recognize that the India CIOs are actually quite savvy, and they tend to have, many of them tend to have a very long vision about how they want to use packaged software, how they want to map the software to their businesses, and so on. So I think we've sort of recognized that, and expect to continue to make huge inroads in the India market.